Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Cassie. I talk about video games, do video game reviews, unboxings, and all sorts of other video game related topics. Today I want to talk about Astro Bot. It's been about 2 weeks since I finished and platinumed, and unfortunately I've been sick, so I've not been able to do any videos or reviews or anything. So I've got a lot to catch up on. And I also got the DualSense. This is pretty awesome. It's got that matte, kind of like slick finish there. The eyes don't light up, which kind of sucks, but that's fine. Yeah, platformers, 3D platformers, is that's one of my favorite genres. So I was super excited for Astro. I played Astro's Playroom when it came out on PlayStation 5. It was kind of like one of the early launch titles. It was a couple of months after launch. I don't know. But it was really fun, but it was only like 3 hours long. And so when they finally announced this, back in like May, just kind of like a surprise thing. I don't know if it was kind of expected, but we didn't really have any like confirmations on that, so until we had our state of play, which was really cool. I got super excited for it, and I'm like, this is going to be my game of the year. And so far, it is. It's a 10 out of 10. It's definitely a 10. Sometimes, like, after I, like, sit on a game after a week or so, sometimes I'll change, like, my mind on, or my opinion on what I think of the game, or like a rating or whatever, and sometimes it'll go down, sometimes it'll go up, but I said it was a 10 right after I finished it, and it's still a 10. I still keep thinking about this game. I can't stop wanting to play more of it, but I'm not going to play anymore because I've done everything, so. But we had a state of play a couple of days ago, and we are getting DLC. Now, I think they said it was like 5 challenges or whatever, which those challenge levels are kind of crazy, especially the last one. Took me some time and my thumb was on fire. But, yeah, I really like the challenge levels, even though they're crazy intense, and you only get one try each time. So, like, if you die, you have to start over completely. It's one hit kill. So, yeah, it can be frustrating. Some people say they're like, like the Mario levels, which I don't really play a lot of Mario, I'll be honest. I played quite a bit of Odyssey, but I never finished it, and I really liked it, but there's just something about Mario I've just never really gotten into for some reason, but I plan on doing that soon. But Banjo and Spyro, those are like 2 of my favorite games of all time. And I really like 3D platformers a lot, and this lived up to the hype for sure. Astro has 6 different worlds, so it's like this little galaxy thing. You've got your hub, where all the bots that you rescued and stuff, they're all going to be in this hub area. It's kind of like a desert, but it's like an open area, and there's like other places that you can unlock and get more things from. You have your spaceship, which is the PlayStation 5, and the alien takes all the chips for it, and they are scattered across these 6 worlds, so you have to go and pretty much get those chips back. Each world has a boss. Each world also has a level that is designed kind of like one of PlayStation big franchise, one of their big games, and you play as Astro Bot, but in disguise of whichever character for that game is, and you get to basically play as them in Astro Bot form, which is really awesome. I'm not going to get into spoilers until like later in this video, which I'll make everybody aware, because I want to do like I want to talk about my favorite levels and bots and stuff that were in this game. There's probably about 5 little planets per world, so They all are very unique. You have different abilities that you unlock. A lot of things like, being able to shrink down to like a mouse size. There's ones that turn you into like this metal ball so you don't get really like, you can't take attacks, and you can go into like small places and stuff and roll around on spikes and not get hurt, because everything is one hit, one kill in Astro Bot. So for the most part, I mean, there's a couple of enemies that like run into you and they just knock you back, but yeah, for the most part, you don't want to die. And most of the small planets, they're not difficult. It's just, I wouldn't say that they're like the easiest thing in the world. Some of them do have some, like, it's never really like hard to get through. But if you want to like collect all this stuff, like sometimes you have to go off and find these like hidden places and stuff. But none of them are really hard except for the challenge levels and like those like construction levels and stuff. Because yeah, they're a little intense. But yeah, it's really, really cool. There's tons of nostalgia in Astro Bot. You've got so many different characters from all these PlayStation franchises that no longer exist. And it's kind of sad, honestly, because you're like, oh gosh, like, I kind of wish that these would be brought back. Like, I love Uncharted. I absolutely love Uncharted, and I want more Uncharted. And I don't know if we're going to get it or not. There was a point in time, like maybe a year or two after Lost Legacy came out, that I talked to Nolan North. I went to a Comic-Con, and he talked like they were working on the next one and nothing has happened. So I don't know. This was like 2018, 2019, something like that. So I have no idea if anything's going to happen or not. But there's also like a lot of franchises that were in there that now I kind of like want to jump into. Like, I've never really dove into like the Sly Cooper games, and I want to do that. I want to go back and play Infamous if we could get like a collection of that. There were quite a few others that I'll talk about later, but yeah, it's really, really cool. It's really fun. It's charming. All of the levels are very well designed. I didn't run into any glitches. It's very smooth. And I didn't have any like frame rate issues with this game. I think everything was pretty much perfect. And then what it does with the haptic feedback is just crazy, because it's just, 65 people made this game at Team Asobi, which is kind of a mixture of Team Eco and Japan Studios, which both were PlayStation first party studios that got shut down. And Team Eco obviously made Shadow of the Colossus and Eco, and later went on to make The Last Guardian, but as a different company, and I can't think of the name right now. And then also Japan Studios, they did Ape Escape. They did quite a few others as well, big names back then. And yeah, we don't have any of those anymore. But the haptic feedbacks on like the controller, I did not even know that like half of this stuff is something that you can do with a DualSense. It felt very realistic in ways, because there's like things that you had to do, like put the chips back into the spaceship. You had to like screw them in, and you had like robotic hands and stuff when you did that, and it kind of felt like you were actually moving the robotic hands around. It felt real in a way, and I just thought that was really, really cool. Yeah, Astro Bot is definitely a 10 out of 10 video game, and it is one of the best 3D platformers of all time. I will say one of the best because It's hard to say anything is better than Banjo-Kazooie or Spyro for me when it comes to platformers, but yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people will be like, well, Mario, but that's fine. um yeah, that's really all I have to say about Astro Bot that's not kind of getting into spoiler territory. So the rest of what I'm going to talk about is like my favorite levels, my favorite bots, my favorite abilities. And I mean, they're not. How spoilery could you get? Not really. I mean, there's not really much of a story in Astro Bot, besides him getting all the pieces back to his spaceship. But yeah, just fair warning. I mean, I'm gonna talk about like characters that appear and stuff, but it's been 2 weeks now, so most people know anyway. It's all over the internet. My favorite levels, there's quite a few of them. Apes on the Loose, which was one of the first, I think it actually was the first character or like game designed level. So it's Ape Escape, but you're playing as Astro. So you jump into like the Ape Escape outfit. You're playing as that main character, and you're running around and you're trapping the apes, and just like you do, like you've got the radar and everything, like to detect them if they're hiding. I only played a little bit of Ape Escape on PlayStation back in the day, and I really liked it. It was really fun, but now I want to go back and play those for sure. I wouldn't say it was like the best designed level because it felt a little short and felt like there could have been more with it, but it did make me want to go back to that game, the originals, and play them. So I thought it was really cool. I wasn't expecting that at all, but now looking back, I didn't really realize that Team Asobi was who they were. So it makes sense considering that Japan Studios is part of Team Asobi, or there's a lot of devs from that studio that worked on Ape Escape that are that made this. So it makes sense. Bathhouse Battle. This one was kind of like a samurai like bathhouse thing. You had the sponge ability in this one, which was cool. So you'd like soak yourself up, and then you could like spray water when you like squeezed yourself, I guess. So you could make like flowers, plants grow. You could you could put out fires and stuff with that one. And I just liked the environment in that one. It was cool. Slow-mo Casino is probably a lot of people's favorites, I would imagine. This one had the slow time mechanic, the ability where you could slow time for, I don't know if it was like 15 seconds or something, which was really cool because there were like some enemies would throw cards at you, so they're flying towards you, but to like get up higher, if you slowed time, they slowed, so you could actually start jumping on them, like, and then get to where you needed to go. And I thought that was really, really cool. Trunk of Funk, that one had some really cool music. There was this huge tree that you got to, that you pretty much, I don't know, brought back to life or something. It was like sleeping, or I don't know. You brought him back to life, and then you pretty much, the rest of the level is in and around this tree, this giant tree, but everything seems to be kind of like dancing to the beat and stuff, and it was really cool, really colorful, a lot of fun. Dude Rating was the level where you got to play as Nathan Drake as Astro, basically, and it was really cool. It was like an Uncharted level. Free Big Brother. This one was, it kind of looked like the Iron Giant out on a beach. Kind of also reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus a little bit. There was another level that reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus, but I can't remember what the name of it was. Where there was like a kind of like a boss at the end that you had to climb. And but this one, there was like the Iron Giant, and he's kind of like got his arms like locked, and you've got to find the locks and free him, basically. You got to destroy the locks and free him, and then you get to climb on top of him. And it was really cool. Balloon Breeze. This one was one that was like up in the air, and there were a bunch of balloons you had to like kind of jump across, and it just it was really I don't know, just fun. Spooky Time. I think that was the one where there were some enemies that threw knives at you, and you had the slow time mechanic on that one as well. And you'd like jump on top of the knives and stuff as they were throwing them at you, and it's cool. Going Loco. This one's Loco Robo. Loco Roco? Yeah. I've never played any of those games. I never owned a PSP or anything, so I really want to play them now because that was fun. And it was very different. It was like a Loco Roco level, so you played as like a little blob, and you like can separate and get smaller to get squeezed through things, and then it's just all like tilted puzzles and stuff where you're trying to get around. And I liked it. It's cool. Orbital Blitz. This one was kind of like a space level. I don't really remember too much about it, just that it was very colorful, and I really liked the design of it. And then there was Light Bulb Limbo, and for the longest time, up until like 5 minutes before I made this video, I had no idea what game this was reminding me of, because I was like, you go around and you like get these little lights, and pathways are revealed when you've got the light bulb. When you walk up to them, is otherwise you don't see them. They're invisible. And I was like, I've played a game that had this before. I thought it was Medieval for some reason, and it wasn't. But it was Super Lucky's Tale that had like a lantern that you carried around to get through the levels and stuff, because you could the platforms got revealed and stuff. I don't know if they took it from Super Lucky's Tale. It could have been in other games as well, but I really like that. It was cool. You should also check out Super Lucky's Tale if you haven't before. It's a good 3D platformer as well. Turtles and Trash. This one was just more of a cute level. It wasn't difficult. It was probably one of the least difficult ones, but you were basically cleaning up trash and stuff, and all the turtles, and it's just cute. Yeah, so that's, I mean, I liked all the levels. I don't think there were any that I didn't really care for too much, except for some of the construction ones. I don't think I like those as much. They reminded me of Super Mario Sunshine, I guess, which I like. I like Super Mario Sunshine. That is one Mario game that I like. Nobody likes it, and that's the one I like, and I don't really like Mario, so it's just funny. Yeah. My favorite bots. So this one's definitely like spoiler territory, I guess, but Shadow of the Colossus, obviously, because that's one of my favorite games of all time. So they had the horse. They had the main character with his sword that had like a light that directed him where to go. And then the girl that's laying on the... I don't know their names because they don't talk. I don't think they've talked. It's been a while. But the girl laying on top of the stone. And Medieval, I didn't expect to see Medieval at all. And he was there. No, actually, he was a costume as well. And that's cool. I love Medieval. I only played the remake, and I played it last year for the first time. and I expected nothing from it, and I was like, oh, this is a great spooky game. Like, that's like a really good Halloween game, I think. I don't really like horror when it comes to video games, but the spooky ones are good. I love horror movies and books, so I don't know. It's weird. I don't like the video games, though. Uncharted, obviously, because I love Uncharted. So they have, like, a whole, like, circle with probably about, like, 10, maybe not 10, maybe, like, 5 to 8 different bots for Uncharted. They had Persona, so they had Persona 3, 4, and 5. So they had Teddy, they had Joker, and then they had Aegis, which was really cool. And then Kiryu from Yakuza, he had, like, there were, like, all these bots and stuff. Obviously, like, if you went up to them and you hit them with Astro, they would sometimes do, like, cool things. So when you went up to Kiryu and you punched him, plates and baseball bats and signs and stuff would just come out of him. And it was kind of funny because in Yakuza, you can basically just, use any of these weapons to, like, hit people with and stuff. And I don't know. I thought it was cool. There was actually a trophy for that too. So Ghost of Tsushima, I have not played too much of that game. I did when it came out a little bit, but he was in the hot spring, and if you hit him, he, like, gets out of there and he's, like, butt naked. And then he kind of, like, sneaks back in there. That is just funny. Mr. Mosquito. I did not expect to see Mr. Mosquito at all. I did play this. I did used to own this when I had a collection on PlayStation 2. And it actually just came to PlayStation Classics on PlayStation Plus. So definitely look into it if you haven't played it before. It's unique. It's weird. But yeah, he's very, very tiny. So when you try to take a selfie with him, you gotta, like, zoom in. But there's, like, a little bathtub too, like, out in the hub world. If you, like, jump into it, then he, like, tries to land on you. That's funny. Favorite abilities. I really like the fist weapons because you could go crazy and, like, knock out everything in front of you. There was the mouse ability, which allowed you to, like, shrink into a mouse, basically. And there was only one level that used that. I didn't put in my favorite levels, but it was a good level. And I don't know why you only got to use that once. But you could shrink down and get into these small spaces and stuff, and it was really cool. I really like the sponge ability as well, and the slow time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't wait for more challenge levels. The DLC, they did say that there's more to come besides that, so who knows what that is. I hope they just keep giving us more and more and more. And I can't wait for a sequel. I don't care if it's got, like, all the nostalgia that the others do or not, or that this did. I think Astro Bot on his own is great, but yeah, Astro is my game of the year currently, and we'll see if anything else, like, tops that, which there's a few that could be really good, but I don't know if they're gonna get to this level. And I think at some point later on, in the next, I don't know, week or so, I'll probably do a video on games, like underrated games that you should play if you liked Astro Bot, maybe, because there's quite a few of them that I can think of. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.